Alright guys, so I've been outside doing some yard work for a few hours every day for the last few weeks. And I gotta tell you, what my latest project has been insane. So my wife got some flowers from my mother-in-law. And so I've been digging up this so that way she can have a little garden in the front yard. We've also, there used to be a bunch of rocks here. One thing I forgot to mention was that the reason why I was digging down so deep in that little hole I was digging in the yard is because of how many rocks there were. We were worried that the rocks would actually prevent the roots of the plants from taking hold. My wife dug up all the sod here so she could plant some of her shaded plants here. And then back here, we had some more rocks that I dug up. There's some of the sod that my wife dug up. And then here's all the rocks that we've dug up between the garden in the front yard and the rocks alongside the house. Now notice some of these rocks here are discolored. These are the ones that have a slight brown shade to them, are the ones that were in that hole in the front yard that I've been digging up. You can actually tell how many wheelbarrows I've done. So like I've done 1, there's 2, and 3. I've done 3 wheelbarrow full things of rock just out of that one spot. And this is how much actual dirt I've dug up from this. So what we've been doing is there are so many rocks in the ground here that we've actually been sifting out all the dirt from the rocks. So that way the wheelbarrow isn't as heavy when I go to dump it. And B, it saves us a trip for the compost site. Another thing I should mention is that the garden that I'm digging that hole for, that hole is only about, I haven't actually measured it, but if I had to guess, it's probably about 6 feet long, about 4 feet wide, and about 8 to 12 inches deep. Now to kind of give you guys an idea of how much stuff there is, this is just your standard size wheelbarrow. Holds, I don't know, 30, 40 gallons worth of volume of stuff. And it's kind of hard to tell with the camera, but I could probably scoop this and dump it with about 3-4 trips of the wheelbarrow. So basically what that translates to is where I was digging my wife's garden, there were essentially as much, if not more, rocks than there were dirt. Now normally what I would do is I would just take a shovel, dig up the rock, put it in the sifter, sift it out, and go on my way. But where I've been digging that hole in the ground, there were so many rocks that my wife actually had to run to the hardware store on her way home from work one day to get this. Now, I don't know what the technical name for this is. I've always known it as a grub hoe because that's what my old man called it when I was in high school. But I'll tell you what, guys, if you're digging up the ground and there's a lot of rocks and it's giving you a hard time with your shovel, this thing is a godsend. But here's the real reason why I love using that thing. It's going to be kind of awkward trying to do with one hand, but hopefully kind of gets the point across. So I'm trying to dig this up. There's a rock. Go across here. There's another rock. I mean, you see this neatly shaped hole right here? That's where this guy was. So I had to dig around it with the pointy end of this and then get under it with this just so I can pry it out. Look at the size of this rock. It's about the size of my head. This spot's a little high, so I'm going to dig down a little more. I'm not going to be able to get much force with one hand, but hopefully you can get the idea across. Oh, here's a tink. See, look at that. That was after about 10 seconds. So between my wife trying to break up the sod and sift through the sod so we could try to save it, and me trying to fight with all these rocks, my wife and I collectively have about 12 hours into this. Mind you, we're not professional landscapers. We don't do this for a living. And with me being autistic, I'm a little slower than most people as it is. But with that said, autistic or not, you should always be trying to find ways to make your job easier and faster, be it something you're doing at home or something, whatever you're doing at work. If you can find a way to make yourself do better and go faster, you should always do it. But if you're doing any kind of yard work, get yourself one of these. It'll make your life 10 times easier.